I thought that's where that
I'm
was
not
going.
Kizu. Israel? Which one? Oh, I actually gotta read. Digital, you gotta hear some of this shit. You gotta hear some of this shit. The most recent report that now Miss Rachel's touting around saying there's absolute proof of genocide. Have you read it?
No.
Let me give you
Yo,
some.
guy. That's what I was gonna ask. Sorry, bro.
Let me-
Anthony, I was gonna ask, what do you think about that recent statement?
I'm gonna read you some. I'm gonna read you some of the statements from within that report.
All right, I'm not gonna lie, I
Okay.
didn't look into it too much. I just saw the surface stuff, so
So-
I kind of want to see.
So one of them, this is hilarious. So in the report, it claims there was a 10-day-old baby who was deliberately sniped in the head by a quadcopter while breastfeeding inside a tent. The bullet supposedly exited the back of his head and hit the pillow behind his mother. The mother was unharmed. The baby survived, and the only evidence they have for this whole story is a picture of a bullet that they can no longer find.
All right, that's pretty nuts.
That is a verified story as presented as factual in the report. There's also reports of soccer balls and vases being, like, people were taking pictures and reporting them to the UN, that there's just random soccer balls and vases and like pottery and shit in the streets in Gaza and random places, and people were telling the UN, no, these are IEDs, these are bombs, these are verified bombs, but didn't show any other proof. They put that in the report.
Oh, so it's basically. I thought it was really they had some kind of direct evidence, but they basically
They're taking stories.
It sounds like a list of assumptions, right?
No, it's a list of stories that no one verified, because even the UN has admitted, like the girl who's in charge of the committee that published it said, it's not my job to verify the things in these reports. Like, she's flat out said that. It's not my job.
I really assumed when you see a headline like that, you assume they have concrete evidence. But if that's the evidence you're talking about, that's insane.
Yeah, like
That's crazy.
on this is point number 59, injuring of a 10-day-old baby by quadcopter inside the tent of in Nusrat camp. Yeah, this is a verified factual story within the report that they presented as a fact. On April 12, 2024 at 1300, a 10-day-old baby boy was shot by a quadcopter while breastfeeding by his mother inside their tent in the camp. So keep that in mind. A 10-day-old baby shot in the head by a sniper on a drone.
Yeah, but I mean through a tent. How could you?
No. They said that they said the quadcopter. First of all, that implies that the quadcopter with a sniper is real. It's fucking not. But they're saying no. They're saying the quadcopter was in the tent. The tent. The mother was alone in the tent breastfeeding her baby when a single bullet from a quadcopter hit the baby in the head, exited through the back of his head, hitting the pillow behind the mother. The baby survived but sustained brain injuries and now suffers from seizures. Yeah, I've never known a 10-day-old to get shot clean through the head and just be fine. The commission viewed and analyzed images of the bullet that hit the baby. The commission concluded on reasonable grounds that the bullet was fired from a sniper rifle mounted on a quadcopter. How on earth they would come to that conclusion, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I might need more concrete evidence before I believe there's robots going into tents.
You should read the report.
Wow,
it's the same shit as the other reports that have come out where, like, you find one case where it's like, okay, yeah, that's probably a thing that happened. That seems pretty fucked up. And then, like, 98% of the other shit you read, you're like, I'm in fantasy land. What the fuck am I reading?
You know what, man? This is the core issue with headlines and just the way media works, because I didn't see not one post that gets into any of the evidence, any of the points, nothing. It's the straight headline that catches my eye, and I'm dumb enough to think media's correct, right? I don't know.
Do you remember?
It sounds like you're kind of.
Mhm.
Sounds like you're coping, Anthony.
Well, I mean, do you remember hearing about the Doctors Without Borders study where they're saying, look, we are signing and verifying as a matter of fact that that what was it? Oh yeah, children are being sniped in the head in Gaza, and we've got all these X-rays and all this proof and stuff. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember seeing something like that.
Yeah, and then it came out that the photos that they used, that they said were their proof of babies being sniped in the head were not even their photos. We're not even from Gaza, and we're not even from that year or from that region. They were from a Chinese subreddit posted in 2021 that people found their reverse image links for. They weren't even their images.
That's insane. I see. Yeah, man. There's too many people on. Like, obviously, somebody took those photos and stitched them in some kind of viral post, and that's all it really takes, man. I really did. They were convincing, man. They had, they had X-ray pictures of all these bullet wounds. It was pretty convincing. They convinced me. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Hey guys who are watching, like the live.
Look at
let's
you,
get the numbers up.
Army. Thank you.
Well, there you go, Anthony. Anthony debunked my I just wanted to ask.
I'll just show you one real
it's-
quick, just so you can see. Oh God, it's in German.
That's it.
Oh, now it's not in German.
Disgusting.
Okay, there we go. I fixed it. It's no longer in Lost 2 World Wars. Okay, so this image here. This was the main one they used for their images.
Yeah. Yup.
There's no bullet entry wound here. There's no bullet fragmentation here. There's no wound cavity. There's no bullet deformation. That bullet is perfectly intact and perfect shape. There is literally nothing that would indicate that this bullet has in fact entered via a firearm.
Secret
You know
Israeli
what-
tech.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of like in movies when they show somebody has gotten shot and they pull the bullet out and it's still in the casing.
Oh yes, dude.
And it's like yeah,
Army. They have done that in Gaza, and the UN has actually published it. The UN has published that.
that's hilarious.
I'm not
That's so
kidding.
fucking
They have
stupid.
done that in Gaza, where they have said, "Oh, look at this bullet fired by IDF snipers," and it was a fucking 50 cal round in the casing still.
Yeah, that's just
It's like what sniper? When are the IDF walking around with Barrett 50 cals?
see, digital is right. It's secret Israeli technology.
Secret Israeli.
I mean, how would the skull even be intact considering a round? That would be a pretty and considering it would have to be a perfect like what's the likelihood of a round stopping in a
Without
child's
any
skull versus
it's gotta in order you can there's plenty of x-rays with children having bullet entry wounds in their head like that, but the problem is there's other indicators. Like, first of all, if the bullet has enough inertia to enter a skull, granted a child's skull is softer, it may even hit the fucking
It's bouncing around.
may even hit the fucking soft spot. Well, not even that. That means it's got some mass and speed behind it. In order to stop, the bullet's going to become deformed. It's going to have some misshapenness, something on it. And like that, I remember in this report, there's one point where they've got like they're in a fucking surgery room or an operating room, and you can see the patient laying on the table in the background, but it's blurry. They've blurred out the background, and in the foreground, they're showing you in a pair of tweezers a bullet. Army, you're gonna like this one. The bullet they showed was a 7.62 by 3.9 bullet
Based.
with no rifling that still had the glue from the shell they had just removed it from, or from the casing.
Damn.
You could see the black ring of the glue. And if anyone knows anything about ammo, because I can't show it on live, obviously, when you have a bullet that is not fired yet, it's the round still in the shell casing. You can take the bullet out. There's not going to be any rifling marks on the round from being fired through a barrel because it hasn't been fired. And you'll see usually a black ring of glue around the round. In the image they were showing in the operating room, and they said, we just pulled this bullet out of like a 10-year-old child. That was what they showed. A bullet that had not been fired and still had the glue on it. And people went, oh my God, this is the proof.
and mind you, with zero deformation, right? That's insane. How a round like
See,
that gets fired,
we've-
it's gonna have to
Remember
deform.
when they were
we have a
saying-
we have a hypothesis. Now we have to apply the scientific method. Anthony,
So
the
we
bullet
do, in
unit-
fact, have to shoot a child?
On stream.
We have to test it? Is that what you're
Dude.
saying, Army?
unfortunately, pick the most annoying kid.
Shit. Birdman.
Remember how they were saying like they were withholding aid from Gaza?
Oh,
and it
yeah.
wasn't true that they had tons and tons of food rotting,
Oh, yeah.
and
They had a bunch of it.
and the UN wouldn't send vehicles to send in there to deliver it.
Yeah, they
I've seen the
got to
videos.
certain areas where they knew Hamas would take it, and the UN was like, all right, we're stopping here. I mean, fuck, there was a point with early on in the war where UNRWA actually had a tracker that showed how many trucks went through each checkpoint per day and what was on them, how much food, how many pallets, all that stuff. Track everything. From the Gaza or from the Egypt crossing, there was a period where there was a bunch of trucks, and then zero for like 3 days. And it's like, well, what happened there? Well, if you actually look at the news from that day,